Because yeah, nothing changes and nothing changes, man. You know, we'll sit around forever wondering, well, what if I was a dog catcher? Would I be the best? Would I be able to do it? You don't know until you say, yeah, I'm gonna take action. Nothing changes if nothing changes, man. And I'm not preaching at you. I just want to remind you, because I've spent a lot of time in my life sitting around wanting things to change and not being able to make them change, and not thinking I could. And I wish somebody had told me that earlier sometimes, that in order for something to change, there needs to be change.
We have to change. We have to adjust. We have to alter. And so many times people stay focused on what they want to change without willing to change anything. Most people don't want to put the work in for anything.
In life, folks, you cannot change your life unless you change something. If you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you always got.
How can I make one change right now, day in and day out, that's going to impact this goal, this objective, and how do I hold myself accountable?
The fear is never reaching your potential.
That's it.
That always falling short, always quitting before you're done, always procrastinating, always not doing the right thing. And then one day you're an old man.
Yep.
And you look back and go, God, I could have been great.
Yep.
I could have been great.
It's exciting to change something. Like, I like change, and I don't like discomfort. I don't like the uncomfortability of change, but I like the newness of adventure. I like living life and seeing results. And if you don't change something, if you're not working at getting better at just the simplest things.
Come to understand, if I could work that hard every day, with being blessed with the physical tools that I have, what would my career be? And I made a promise to myself from that day that I was going to work that hard every single day, so that when I do retire, I have no regrets. And that was the most important thing for me, is to leave no stone unturned, get better every single day. And if I lived that way, then over time, I'd have something that was beautiful. But that was my philosophy. It seems like a pretty simple one, but if you live your life to just get better every single day, and do that for 20 years, what do you have?
No matter what's going on in your life, it's not permanent. Everything is going to change. So there's two things you can do with change. You can react to it, or you can participate in it. It's gonna change anyway. So if you keep waiting around, you're gonna have to react to the change. And now you behind. So what you gotta start doing is you gotta start anticipating that it's going to change, and just start living your life with the preparation for change. No matter what you're doing, you could be doing more. Remember that.
If we focus too much on what's right in front of us right now, and we can't see what we're aiming for in the future, then it's very difficult to push through the challenges, because challenges happen every day, and some of them are overwhelming. And I think a lot of people hit a challenge and quit. In fact, most people hit a challenge and quit. Most people are afraid to push through challenges.
What I'm saying is, you're not gonna know. So choose, live, and then if it works out, great, and if it doesn't, adjust. Everybody thinks they can have the perfect decision. There is no perfect decision. There's just life.
We want to get better and change, but there's uncomfortability with that. There's discomfort with change. And I think you have to embrace that and understand that if we start to find comfort in the discipline of change, okay, in the discipline of action in change. So for example, I'm fat and I want to get skinny, okay? Really simple, but every day I eat the same things. Every day I don't move. Every day I drink sodas. Every day I talk about how bad I want to change, but I never do anything. It starts with changing the next day, not the next week, the next day, one day at a time.
But what blows me away is how many of you have decided that you're finished, that you're on the back end of your life, that you can't accomplish it, that this wasn't built for you. I'm 41 years old. I didn't grow up with this shit either, but I figured it out. You figured out how to drive, you figured out how to be a parent, you figured it all out. And with the health trends and the way the world is now, you've got a long life in front of you. So instead of sitting in that job for the next 10 years, go do your thing. You've got plenty and plenty of time.
I mean, I think we're constantly challenged to seek pleasure over pain. But unfortunately, pain is what pays us the dividends. You save money and you see the resources later in life when you're doing things that you didn't dream of doing early because you had nothing. You make sacrifices early on that pay off significantly when you're older. You make changes in your diet that are uncomfortable so that you can look, feel, and be the best version of yourself. I think that ultimately it just is part of the pain is part of the process. And when you embrace it, you actually can turn it into something that you're happy with. Because when you do something hard, you actually feel like you have purpose. You've accomplished something and you want to share it.
I'm always waiting for everything to be perfect before I live my life. As soon as these things line up, I'm going to live my life. You can't wait for everything to be perfect to start living your life. Because I've bet that's what I've done. My whole life has been like that. Inside of me, it has been, as soon as it's all lined up, I'm going to show you myself. As soon as I've got it all looking the way I want, I'm going to show up for you. I'm never going to get to that where everything's okay, where everything looks a certain way. And in the meantime, I'm burning the best time I do have available. I'm burning that candle up. I'm burning this candle down, and I'm saying as soon as it gets bright enough or warm enough in here, I'm going to show up. But the candle's getting smaller.
I think perfect is the enemy of excellence. And what I mean by that is if you focus too much on perfect, you never get to see the excellence you actually can attain. Perfection is a myth. There's no such thing. If you're working towards being better at anything, there's no perfect anything. It is about being excellent. And I think that when people try to have all the things ironed out, this is actually something we talked about as well on the podcast a little bit yesterday, is, so many times people have a great idea or a great dream and it stays right here in their brain because all they do is get paralyzed analyzing it over and over and over again of how they're going to execute it and when they're going to do it. And it's not the perfect time, and it's not the perfect space, and it's not the perfect person that I'm going to work with, and it's not worth it. It's action is what gets you to excellence.
I would say ask her out. No matter who she is, whether she's a job or a new city or a actual person. Whether she's an opportunity or a fear. If you're afraid of heights, ask her out. Hey, heights, what you doing tonight? Whatever she is, man, ask her out.
I do not like waiting for everything to be perfect. I've never been a fan. There's no such thing. It's the worst idea ever. It's total paralysis by overanalysis. And when you wait for perfection, you can't strive to excellence. You can't get to excellence because excellence comes from work and failure and work and failure. And so even as something as simple as asking somebody out, like I can remember as a kid, it's the perfect analysis because you could say, oh, I'm going to talk to her at this time. I know it's going to be the perfect time. And it never is the perfect time.